My parents banned me from dating after my sister's abusive ex, but they don't know I'm getting married tomorrow. My parents established exactly one rule after what happened to my sister Violet. No dating until I turned 25, or they'd cut off all financial support. They made this rule because they'd watched Violet's boyfriend Derek systematically destroy her over 3 years, isolating her from friends, convincing her she was worthless, and finally putting her in the hospital with a fractured skull when she tried to leave. She was 22 when it started, the same age I am now. My parents decided to protect me by eliminating the possibility entirely. No dating meant no chance of choosing wrong. The problem was that I'd already met Asher 6 months before they implemented the rule. We were lab partners in organic chemistry, and he made me laugh during the most stressful semester of my pre-med track. When my parents announced the new rule 3 weeks after Violet got out of the hospital, Asher and I had already been secretly dating for 2 months. I went home that night and cried in his apartment, convinced we'd have to break up because I couldn't survive without my parents' help paying for medical school. Asher said we'd figure it out together, that 3 years wasn't forever, and he'd wait as long as it took. We became experts at hiding in plain sight. Asher was my study partner, the friend who happened to live near campus. We studied at coffee shops holding hands under the table where nobody could see. We celebrated anniversaries in his apartment with takeout and quiet music. My roommate Priya covered for me constantly, texting my parents updates about our girls' nights when I was actually curled up on Asher's couch. For 2 years, we lived in this careful balance of secret relationship and public friendship. Violet knew, though. She figured it out about 8 months in when she came to visit me at school and saw the way Asher and I looked at each other. She pulled me aside and asked point blank if we were together, and I couldn't lie to her. Instead of being angry, she hugged me and said she was glad I'd found someone who made me smile like that. She became our secret keeper, the only family member who knew the truth. She said watching Asher and me gave her hope that healthy love actually existed. Everything changed 6 months ago when Asher proposed. We were hiking up to a waterfall, and when we reached the top, he got down on one knee with a ring he'd been saving for since our first anniversary. He said he knew we couldn't tell anyone and couldn't actually get married until my parents' arbitrary timeline expired, but he wanted me to know he was committed to waiting however long it took. I said yes while crying, and wore the ring on a chain under my shirt where my parents would never see it. Then Violet got sick. After weeks of doctors and tests, they found a brain tumor the size of a golf ball pressing against her frontal lobe. The neurosurgeon said it needed to come out immediately before it caused permanent damage. My parents completely fell apart. One night, after a particularly hard consultation, Violet pulled me into the hallway alone. She told me she'd updated her will just in case, and one of her wishes was that if something happened to her during surgery, she wanted me to stop hiding and actually live my life. She wanted me to marry Asher instead of waiting for some arbitrary deadline our traumatized parents had invented. She said she'd spent 3 years trapped with someone who made her miserable, and she wasn't going to let me waste 3 more years hiding someone who made me happy. I promised, even though the idea of her not being okay made me feel sick. The surgery happened on a Monday morning in November. When the surgeon finally came out after 7 hours, he said something that changed everything. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.